Good morning, everybody, and thank you for that kind introduction, Miles. It's great to be back at the City UK's annual conference, and it's wonderful to see so many representatives of our world-leading financial and related professional services ecosystem. So let me start with a simple message, which you might have heard from other government ministers. Growth is this government's #1 mission. We have chosen this mission because we know that it is growth which creates opportunities for working people, funds our public services, and improves people's living standards across the country. And we understand that long-term economic growth is driven by investment, innovation, and enterprise. Earlier this week, you would have seen that the government published our modern industrial strategy, where we have set out a new economic approach. Growth was a puzzle that the last government failed to solve. Our strategy, focused on 3 pillars of stability, investment, and reform, is the answer to that puzzle. It provides the certainty and stability for businesses that you need to make long-term investment decisions and to reap the benefits from the UK's openness to the world. In the strategy, we are expanding access to finance, supporting skills and access to talent, and securing cheaper energy over the longer term. Our government believes in real partnership with business. You might ask, what do we mean by this? Put simply, it is working with business to play a more strategic role in shaping future growth, prioritising action where opportunities are greatest, and where necessary, taking tough decisions to make this happen. We also know that our cutting-edge businesses rely on international trade and investment, close coordination with international partners, and resilient global supply chains. Last month, we agreed ambitious trade deals with India, the United States, and the European Union, supporting the long-term competitiveness and stability of UK industry. These agreements will protect jobs, cut costs for businesses, and reduce trade frictions. And they shouldn't be seen as a one-off moment. They are the start of a journey, and the government is ambitious about what more we can do to unlock opportunities and bring down barriers for businesses. Just today, the government published our new trade strategy, which sets out how we will unlock £5 billion of export opportunities for businesses and expand UK export finances capacity to £80 billion. At home and abroad, we want to protect and boost British business and make the UK the most connected nation in the world. As Economic Secretary to the Treasury, a role, by the way, that is a real honour and privilege, I want to underline that no industry is more critical than the financial services sector in delivering long-term economic growth. You might have expected me to say that, but I believe it. Your sector supports growth, innovation, and growth across the country, jobs, innovation, and growth. But you also play a crucial enabling role in driving growth in the wider economy. So in addition to the 9% of our economic output that financial services firms generate, your firms also enable every other sector to grow, scale, and succeed. It is the firms represented in this room that drive innovation, fund infrastructure, support entrepreneurs, and bring investment into communities across the length and breadth of the country. And as the world's largest net exporter of financial services, it is your firms that are driving exports across the globe and prosperity at home. And the wider financial and related professional services ecosystem that the City UK represents employs nearly 2.5 million jobs across the country, from London to Edinburgh, Norwich to Leeds, Bournemouth to Birmingham. And as Miles often says, it wouldn't be a City UK event if we didn't stress that 2/3 of these jobs are outside London. This is why the sector is at the heart of our growth mission, as one of the 8 growth-driving sectors in the industrial strategy. I am leading the Financial Services Growth and Competitiveness Strategy, which will be published, as you've heard, on the 15th of July, alongside the Chancellor's Mansion House speech. It has been co-designed with you, with the industry, and I would like to thank all of you for your engagement, and in particular the City UK and the firms that you represent. With your insights, suggestions, and ideas, we have developed an ambitious long-term strategy to unleash the sector's potential to the benefit of the wider economy and everyone who relies on financial services as part of their daily lives. On the way here this morning, I was reflecting that this time last year, I was pounding the streets of Wickham asking local residents for their support. I wasn't an MP at the time. I didn't envisage then that I would be here today as Economic Secretary to the Treasury, setting out what the government's plans are to drive growth. But in that short time, we've already achieved so much. We have overseen the overhaul of the UK's listing regime to bring our rulebook into line with international best practice. We have delivered the legislation paving the way for PICEs, a new type of innovative stock market for companies who want to stay private for longer. We have enabled the creation of new pension megafunds. By the way, I started it as Pensions Minister, with the scale to invest in assets with higher growth potential, delivering bigger, better-run pension schemes which provide more capital for UK firms and better returns for future pensioners. We have been taking action to encourage a stronger retail investment culture across the UK, taking forward the Advice Guidance Boundary Review to transform the way that financial advice is delivered to consumers, and working with the FCA to deliver in the coming months the new targeted support approach, which will enable more people to benefit from the longer-term advantages of investing. And I very much enjoyed the last panel's discussion about this. I am inspired by the retail investment culture in the US and in Australia. And as the last panel discussed, I am also really excited about the pensions dashboard and the wider pensions reform. Once a pensions minister, always a former pensions minister. In addition, the Chancellor has also announced that we will set up a financial services concierge service to help international firms get to grips with UK regulations, attracting more investment and making it easier to do business here in the UK. Now let me turn to the regulatory environment. I have heard loud and clear from the industry how important the regulatory environment is to your ability to grow and compete internationally. I'm working with the financial services regulators to take forward commitments in the Chancellor's Regulation Action Plan and ensure that the UK's regulatory environment supports growth and investment. And that means recalibrating our approach to risk. And I know that Nikhil Ratti spoke about this very issue earlier today. Of course, we must maintain high standards and important protections, but also support the informed and responsible risk-taking that is essential for delivering growth. We need a new attitude to risk for government, for regulators, for industry and for investors. We started this work in the Chancellor's last Mansion House speech in November, where she issued new remit letters for the FCA and PRA, putting them at the heart of the government's growth mission, challenging them to go further to support growth and competitiveness. The financial services strategy will set out our plans to deliver this, reducing burdensome requirements and supporting new firms to enter the market and to grow. And that includes the conclusions of the review that I am leading into the Financial Ombudsman Service. I joke with my officials, the shortest government review in recent British history, to ensure that it is set up and operating in the right framework, so that it works well for consumers, small businesses and financial services firms into the future. The FOS, of course, plays an important role in providing consumers and firms with straightforward, independent dispute resolution, which is critical. But it cannot and it should not act as a quasi-regulator. Changes are needed to provide greater predictability and clearer expectations on redress for all parties. There are great opportunities that together we must seize. Digital technologies have completely transformed the financial services sector in recent years. And I want to thank you for your pioneering spirit, which has meant that the UK has been at the forefront of delivering these changes and seizing the benefits. And this government is committed to maintaining this innovation. Our financial services strategy will set out how this government will help financial services firms to stay at the tech frontier and innovate to grow. And artificial intelligence remains a key part of our mission to drive economic growth. In January this year, we launched the AI Opportunities Action Plan, which set out how we intend to lay the foundations for AI growth, including by expanding the UK's compute capacity, establishing new AI growth zones, and supporting access to data and talent. UK financial services firms are leaders in AI adoption. 75% of firms recently surveyed by the regulators reported already using AI. We are committed to building on this and fully embracing the opportunities that AI can bring to your sector. Innovation is central to the growth mission because it drives better outcomes for consumers, businesses, and government across the country. Our thriving fintech sector is one of the most exciting aspects of my brief because it is a shining example of that spirit. We are committed to the continued success of this sector. We want to maintain our position as one of the best places in the world to start and scale a fintech firm. And we want to ensure that this growth is achieved throughout the UK. I was delighted last week to meet with Fintech Scotland, indeed in Edinburgh, and many exciting fintechs in that part of the country. We need to ensure the right regulatory environment for fintechs to thrive, but also to ensure that as companies, they get the access to capital and investment they need to finance their growth in the UK. At the spending review, the Chancellor announced plans to transform the resources and capabilities of the British Business Bank, and it was great to see Louis on the platform, delivering a 2/3 increase in support for UK innovative businesses to around £2.5 billion a year and increasing its overall financial capacity to £25.6 billion. With additional capital and greater flexibilities from a set of strategic reforms, the British Business Bank will be able to continue flagship programmes like Startup Loans and Nations and Regions Investment Fund. This government has also launched the British Growth Partnership, a new vehicle to crowd in pension investment into venture capital and innovative businesses, supported by a cornerstone UK government investment to help firms like those in our thriving fintech sector to scale up. Finally, just as we're backing innovation in fintech, we also want to support the growth of sustainable finance, one of the 5 priority growth areas under the financial services strategy. London is already a leading global hub for sustainable finance, but the government knows that to maintain this leadership, we need to provide long-term certainty. This will allow us to scale and focus on key emerging opportunities. In particular, we want to be the global hub for transition finance. In our strategy, we will set out how we will build on the foundations of our sustainable finance framework in a way that is proportionate and pro-growth, built in partnership with you, the industry. Yesterday, we published 3 consultations to support this. The first sets out the details on the UK sustainability reporting standards. These will make the long-term decision-making of firms and investors easier across multiple jurisdictions. The second consultation delivers on the government's commitment to take forward transition plans, and it seeks views on each element of this commitment, again through a pragmatic and pro-growth lens. Finally, we are consulting on a proposed voluntary sustainability assurance registration regime. And I'm particularly pleased to highlight these announcements at the end of another successful London Climate Action Week. We are determined to win the race for global business that will drive the green transition globally and domestically and will deliver economic growth right here in the UK. So, together, our government and your sector face a world that is changing before our eyes, intensifying global competition, technological change happening at blistering pace, a horizon teeming with both challenges but also fantastic opportunities. Our future is in our hands. We will work with you to seize it, meet the challenges that arise, and make the very best of the abundant opportunities that lie in wait, to ensure that this country's financial services continue to go from strength to strength. We want businesses in this room and up and down the country to meet the coming decade with confidence and flexibility, in partnership with a government which shares your hunger for growth and which is entirely committed to making the UK the best place for firms to invest, innovate, grow, and sell their services to the world. I am proud that this government is already making progress. The UK is currently the fastest growing economy in the G7, but progress cannot lead to complacency. We will not take our foot off the pedal. I'm looking forward to working closely with all of you in the months ahead, as together we continue to turn ambition into action to ensure that the UK remains a leader in global finance and delivers growth, innovation, and jobs across the country. Thank you.